The 17th President of the United States, Andrew Johnson. His life and career were full of drama, controversy, and contradiction. He became president during a unique and crisis-ridden time in American history, following the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Johnson was a man with many flaws, but he also played a key role in the post-war reconstruction of the southern states and in shaping the political landscape of the United States in the late 19th century. Early years. Andrew Johnson was born on December 29, 1808, in a poor family in Raleigh, North Carolina. He was one of the last U.S. presidents to have no formal education. His mother was a widow, and the family struggled, which led Johnson to develop independence from a young age. From early childhood, he worked as a blacksmith, learning the trade and developing a strong work ethic. Notably, Johnson was one of the few presidents who didn't receive a formal education but still became a prominent politician. His political career began in 1829 when he was elected to the local city council. After that, Johnson became a member of the U.S. House of Representatives and later a U.S. Senator from Tennessee. Vice Presidency and Presidency. In 1864, during the Civil War, Johnson was chosen as vice president on Abraham Lincoln's second-term ticket. Johnson was a Unionist, but also a Southerner, which made him a political figure who could appeal to the Southern states while still supporting Lincoln in the war against the Confederacy. After Lincoln's assassination in 1865, Johnson unexpectedly became president. His legacy as president is primarily tied to the Reconstruction of the Southern states, the end of the Civil War, and attempts at reconciliation between the Northern and Southern states. However, the political situation was immediately complicated. After the war, the Southern states needed serious changes to their social and economic structures, especially regarding the emancipation of slaves and the rights of African Americans. Johnson, being an advocate for rapid Southern restoration, was not fully in line with the radical Republicans who wanted a complete overhaul of the Southern political system. This led to significant conflicts with Congress. Conflict with Congress. Andrew Johnson quickly became unpopular with the radical Republicans who wanted a tougher policy toward the South and its former slave owners. He attempted to push forward his vision of Reconstruction by offering amnesty to the Southern states, which provoked fierce protests from Lincoln's supporters and the radical Republicans. He even vetoed civil rights legislation for African Americans, which drew significant criticism. The most dramatic event of his presidency was his impeachment. In 1868, Johnson was accused of violating the Tenure of Office Act, which prohibited the president from removing high-ranking officials without the Senate's consent. Johnson attempted to dismiss Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, which became the grounds for impeachment. The Senate fell one vote short of convicting him, and Johnson remained in office, but his political career was irreparably damaged. Legends and scandals. There were many personal scandals and colorful aspects of Andrew Johnson's character. For instance, he had a reputation for drinking and often making harsh remarks about political opponents, contributing to his fiery public persona. Johnson was not a diplomat and often pursued a style of leadership that pushed the boundaries of legal norms. His impulsive and sometimes combative approach to governance starkly contrasted with Lincoln's more measured and diplomatic style. There are also many legends surrounding Johnson, particularly about his humble beginnings and simple roots. For example, it is said that in his hometown, he would ask his wife to write letters for him because he could not read or write until he was an adult. Despite this, he managed to rise in politics and eventually become president. Another popular story is about his personal demeanor and appearance. Johnson was known for wearing dark, plain suits and was famous for his hot temper. He never cared much for public ceremonies or the formalities that were important to many of his political peers. For instance, Johnson is said to have refused to wear ceremonial clothing for his inauguration, preferring to hold such events in simple conditions. Legacy. Andrew Johnson remains one of the most controversial figures in American history. His approach to Southern Reconstruction, though insistent on rapid restoration, was unsuccessful. Johnson faced many setbacks and was the cause of multiple political crises. Despite his efforts to reintegrate the Southern states into the Union, his policies led to prolonged issues in North-South relations and enduring racial tensions. Nonetheless, his attempts to integrate the Southern states back into the Union and secure certain civil rights for freed slaves also deserve recognition. Johnson became an important, though ambiguous, moment in American political history. Thus, Andrew Johnson remains in history as a leader forced to make difficult decisions during a time of intense political upheaval. His presidency stands as one of the most controversial in U.S. history.